Okay, yes, I was. Look at this light, y'all. Will I ever get the light right? I was trying to. It looks like I was so dark yesterday. I'm yellow, but okay, but you can still see me even when I'm not smiling. I can say that joke. Okay, listen. I was playing around. I was clicking, and I pulled this picture up because we're going to talk about this guy right now. This is David Gold. He was intended to be my guest today, all the way from Canada. Love this guy. Met him over a year and a half ago, I think, in Canada when I was there to speak in Toronto, and we've been long friends ever since. Now he went to visit his family, and their home computer is an old desktop with no camera on it. And he didn't take his laptop. He was thinking my old format was still in place. So that was my bad, that he could do it from his phone. And you used to do that when we were doing it straight from Facebook. So anyway, he won't be here today. So I wanted to talk with you guys because I need your help. So let me get the show started first in its traditional manner. Then I'll tell you what we want to talk about. Good morning, Demond. How are you? Nice to see you, my man. I'm Loren Michaels Harris, of course, and I'm here today on Bathrobe Moments. I guess I don't need to keep David up here on the screen because he's not here today. So there we go. There, updating. So anyway, uh, first of all, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. It is Hump Day, Wednesday. Today is the 26th of February. We're almost out of the month of February and into March, which is our third and final month in Q1, the first quarter of 2020. A lot of people said big things about what was going to happen in their life in 2020. If you're one of those, raise your hand. I am. And here we are. Excuse me. Here we are. Almost through the first quarter. Where are you? Are you on point? Are you close? Are you behind? Hi, Karen. How are you? Hi, Wendy Meyer. Wendy, I hate I'm going to miss you in Florida, but I'm not cleared to fly yet, but next time. So anyway, where are you? You know, we always say these things about the beginning of the year, and I just would like to get everybody to do an inventory, a status check, if you will, and see if you're on schedule with your goals for Q1. It's nice when we break our goals for the entire year down into smaller bite-sized pieces. Makes it a little less daunting and a little more manageable. So go in sometime before the end of this month and see where you are. See if you need to speed things up, if you need to slow them down, which I don't know why you would want to do that, but or just to see if you're right on track. Would you do that for me? Today, everyone, of course, Bathrobe Moments is streaming live across Facebook, YouTube, Roku, Android, Apple TV, Periscope, and of course, from our home base over at E360 TV Live. I'd like to shout out to Joshua T. Berglund from Gratitude Unfiltered. His show airs right before Bathrobe Moments. So if you're up a little early, get over to the page for Gratitude Unfiltered and watch Joshua T. Berglund. I have got this thing going on in my chest. Hi, Tammy LaValle. And you know why? I'll tell you why. Because I was hard-headed. When they sent me home from the hospital 4 weeks ago from my knee surgery, they gave me this little thing. Remember I showed you you're supposed to blow in it all the time, like 10 times an hour? After a couple of days, I was like, okay, I'm good. Didn't do it again. Now I got all this mucusy stuff in my chest. I bet it's because I didn't follow instructions. So pray for me, will you? Hard head makes a soft, you know what. Where's the bell? There we go. So, also, welcoming our newest sponsor to Bathrobe Moments this week. Today's episode and every episode this week is powered by Symposium.us, Symposium.us, where conversation becomes currency. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I encourage you to download the app today or simply check them out along with all the great opportunities to convert your viewers and followers into pay-per-viewers. Just get over to www.symposium.us and check out what they're doing. I have done so many things with Symposium. I do masterminds there, workshops there, live stream my events from there. The great people, Troy Rocks, and Glenn, and the whole team. We used them for Empire. Yes, I was secretly praying to play on that show until you know who ruined it for all of us here in Chicago. Jesse. Can't stand your ass. Can I get an amen? I'm still mad at him. I'm sorry. Jesse Smollett. Yes, I'll say it. What you gonna do? Send some Nigerians to beat me up? I'm so over that. I am so over that. Right? So anyway, hi Carolyn Brown. Hi Aaron. So I don't have a guest today. I do not. But I wanted to talk to you guys. I look at everything like this. Things happen for a reason. And today I need to know, have any of you and Lord Jesus, if any of my family members should hop on here today, it's just going to be meant to be. Listen, you know, all know that last week, this time we were headed to Michigan because we had two deaths in our family the weekend before. Two brothers, my brother-in-law Joseph and his older brother Clarence. And when my niece went to check on her stepfather Joe to tell him his older brother had died that morning, she unwittingly arrived and found that her stepfather had taken his own life. And so we had a funeral on Thursday, hit my brother-in-law's, and we had another funeral on Friday. And our family has never dealt with anything like this. And now that, you know, all the pomp and circumstance is over, everyone has flown back to their respective homes. Every day I'm talking to my nieces and my nephews who, you know, um, he was their father, and the little ones who he was their grandfather, and my sister, he was her husband. And it's just so difficult. Um, this thing, I'm curious, have any of you ever, hi Melissa Osborne, how are you? God bless you. Um, leave Jesse alone. We all do stupid things. Well, I can leave him alone, but I'm sorry, that was my favorite show. Love, love, love me some Cookie and Lucius. Right, Karen? And now you know what I'm saying. I don't know. Um, so anyway, hi Shelly Dale. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for the love, light, and healing, Karen. But I need you. You know, this is what I love about what we do. It's not always about the guests. It's not always about me. It's not always about you. Sometimes it's about all of us. And today is one of those days. Have any of you ever dealt? Have you had a person in your life that took their own life? Um, it is. It's. I was telling somebody. Was it you guys yesterday or the day before? You know how when you're growing up and you go to high school or college graduations and you're like, oh, one day that'll be me. You can go to 100 of them, but it still doesn't feel like it does when you have the cap and gown on. Same thing with weddings. You can go to a million weddings, but until you're the one with your heart pounding because you're waiting up there for them to come down the aisle or for you to walk down the aisle, it's not the same until it's you. And that's how this suicide thing feels. I mean, you hear about it all the time. I've heard about it all the time. Um, excuse me, I've had a lot of guests on who've talked about experiencing it, and you think you know it until you have to live with it. And that's why today I'd like to know. Karen says, "I do know what you're saying." Does anyone? Do you have any recommendations? Do you have any feedback, anything that you can share about the healing process, the grieving process? I've heard that, you know, there's going to be this thing where, and I do. One of the kids is experiencing it already. He just told me yesterday that, you know, he sits in the family home because, of course, my sister can't go back there yet. She just can't handle it. They went there the other day for a few hours, and she just had to get out of there because, you know, of course, that's where it happened. And my nephew said, he goes, Uncle Loren, I'm sitting here and I'm so angry. I'm just really angry. And you know, you hear that suicide is a selfish thing, a very selfish act. But in all fairness, my brother-in-law had been dealing with chronic pain for years from two horrible head-on collisions. He had two of them. One was a drunk driver. The other one was just a driver who wasn't paying attention. And he had multiple back surgeries and all kinds of screws put in and taken out. And I think he lost like 2.5 inches of height. Oh, yeah. And all the narcotics and went through that and had to get off those and just a lot. Aaron says that time is the only treatment, but there is no cure. Yeah, you know, and then explaining it to the little ones, they're like 4 and 3 and 7 and 12 and all of that, and it's just oh, Aaron says he lost his sister 2 years ago. Aaron, I think I remember that. I think I remember that. Yes, I do. I do. And let me see here. Thank you all for everything you're sending across the screen. It's really helpful. Shelley Dale says, "Yes, sadly, we have had 6 kids in my son's high school in the last year." Most recently, a boy last Tuesday? Wow. Karen says the most important thing I learned as a trained bereavement counselor is there is no time limit on grieving and okay, show me the rest. No textbook way to do it. Allow people their own journey. Excuse me. Thank you for that. That makes perfect sense, Karen. Now, I want to ask you guys something. Wow, I'm stuck on the 6 kids. And these are babies. These are kids who have barely begun to live, taking their own lives, you guys. And my nephew, one of my nephews, you know how you can get up and say things at the service. He got up and everybody was talking about how none of us saw this coming. But there were signs. There were signs. Um, and I keep asking myself, what could I have done? You know, um, mental health has a lot to do with it. Um, there's so many different things. For instance, when a person takes their own life and it comes time to build out the service, did you know? I mean, we were stuck because of course, well, not of course, but my sister requested that I sing, and she was like, "Loren, I don't know what songs are appropriate because of the lyric content, because of the manner in which he died," and that was a thing that I didn't expect to have to deal with. And I was like, wait a minute, why? And then because of the judgmental aspect of who, organized religion in the churches. What do you guys say about that? Do you even think that that should be an issue? That if someone has died because of suicide, should I mean, are there churches that won't let you have the funeral in their church because no, this person killed themselves? I never considered this. I don't know. What have you heard? Karen says that there are always signs that unfortunately we don't acknowledge them until after the fact. Yes, that is true. When my nephew and I were at the house, not long after it happened, just going over things and looking around and there were things. Oh, D, hi, welcome. Now D is a family member, and D, we're talking about last week. I'm talking about the Joe situation. I'm talking about the healing. And D, you're a part of this family, and Ra Ra, my nephew. Oh, he hates that name now. That's his nickname, Jermon. He's gone back to Arizona where he goes to school out there, and he's gonna have to grieve. D, I'm talking today, and I'm asking people to give us all. Uh, um, because I had a cancellation. My guest wasn't ready for it today, and so I thought, well, let's take this opportunity to talk about the healing process, and I'm asking people to help with any type of idea of what to look for as far as the healing. I mean, there's my niece who found the body. I'm sure that she's going to have to deal with some PTSD. There's the little ones who, until things start happening, I mean, like, what about Father's Day? What about things there, the first time that there's an event or something, and He's not there. It's just all these different things. Going Getting my sister back into the house. Now listen, tell me what you guys think about this, because she couldn't take it. I think she was able to hang out in the house for about 2 to 3 hours with a bunch of people. My other sister Sharon was here from California, and she was there. Um, Thank you, Dee. Yes, we do. Um, Shelley says that suicide is a tragic epidemic. Our community is so sad. Oh yes, 6 kids at her son's school. One last Tuesday. Prayers for them. So needed. Karen says yes, there are churches in the Bible Belt of the South that will not allow funerals of suicides. Lord have mercy. I just don't get it. But anyway, so much for them. But listen, like, okay, tell me what you think of this idea. Um, you know how you can switch your furniture around in your house and it looks like a whole new house? I was thinking maybe that would be a good way for my sister to re-enter her home, is to take the furniture and just have fun redesigning her living room. Move this over here and move that over here. Take that down and change this from that wall to this, or something like that. Just so I call it changing the air in the tank, just so that everything can start to feel a little bit differently. Um, I don't know. The thing about this thing that it just gets me is I feel so helpless. One of my nieces, the one who is always the strong one, Dee, you know who she is, Seminar. She won't mind me saying. I asked her the other day after everyone had gone home. I think that was Monday. Yeah, Monday. And I thought it would be just a regular conversation, like check in, like, hey, because we all, when I call, I go, hey. She goes, hey. And I go, so what you doing? Nothing. Are you at work? Mm-hmm. She's always at work. And I was really calling to check on her daughters and to see how the girls were doing. There was something in her voice that sounded fraudulent. And I said, are you okay? And she just let it go. And she said no. And she broke down. And it dawned on me that I hadn't heard my niece Seminar cry since I was the one making her cry, teasing her when she was a little girl and I was a bad preteen. Loved her dearly, but she was like my little puppet. And I felt so helpless when I heard her crying, and all I could do was sit there and encourage her to get it out, just to let it out. And I tell you what I hate, you guys, and I don't know if you've ever dealt with this. I'm not a parent, okay? I'm not a parent, but I get it now when you hear parents say when someone is hurting that you care for and there's nothing you can do to alleviate that pain. It's just horrible. It's just so I don't like it. So I'm ringing the bell on that one. You guys, I'm not trying to get all emotional, but it is an emotional thing. It's like, I believe, yeah, there's the 2 deaths and whatnot, and I shed some tears regarding that, but I feel like I'm crying more every day since, um, because I'm helpless. I'm helpless I can't take the pain away from my sister. I can't take the pain away from the kids who they're like zombies. Every time I talk to one of them, that I can just tell them, I want to go, hey, over here, that kind of a thing. And I just was hoping that some of you out there, even one of you out there, had something you could offer uh, in the way of what we could do to promote healing as a family. We need to talk more about mental health. We need to look and keep our eyes open and talk to each other. I know this much about the signs because they were there. Absolutely. Dee, I know you can understand that. Shelley Dale says it definitely helped our family to go buy dishes at a thrift store and go outside, smash them on the ground. Wow. And scream at the top of your lungs. It helped release the intensity of the anger. I am writing that one down. See, that's what I'm talking about. I would have never thought of that. I would have never thought of that. Love it. Thank you so much, Shelley. Thank you. Anybody else, please let us know. Oh, my dear friend, Chera Stan, who always hosts us for the Power of We Symposium at the Stan Mansion. And Chera, I am going to be coming to see you next week, not only to get my wonderful hoodie, Chera's sons. Chera, will you put the link in for Alexander's work? Her son is a prolific artist, a designer. He's in Paris studying right now. He just launched a new website with some great stuff on there, and I am buying the hoodie today. And oh no, I'm picking it up from you. Okay, I'm picking it up and taking her to lunch next week. So it's Chera. Will you please drop that in for us? Love you and miss your face. Can't wait to see you next week. But Chera, we're here today talking about the deaths in my family last week, in particular the suicide and the healing now. And Shelley, thank you so much for that. I really think that's a great idea. Um, Karen says, I don't think there needs to be any different way of healing from a death, whether it is suicide or of old age. Aha. Death is death, and everyone deals differently with it. It is a trauma, no matter how it happens, and we are left here dealing with. Okay, no, Lauren, you cannot take it away. However, you can sit in the consciousness of love for them. And I love that, and I received that. Thank you. I'm ringing the bell on that. Let's get some hearts on the screen. Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Shelley. Hello. How do you say your name? Davis. I love it. Quaina. Quaina Davis. Quaina Davis. I love you already. Um, your name alone has me just So listen, but let me ask you, Karen, do you really think it's the same that if a person dies of old age or a suicide? Old age, you know it's coming. Like the brother that died earlier that day, we knew he was in hospice. We knew it was getting close. We knew, but the other brother didn't see it coming. The thing, you know, I'll never forget. It'll haunt me forever. Was when I called my sister to speak with her right after I got the news. I gotta blow my nose. Or wipe my nose. Blow it. I'm sorry, you guys got me emotional. Um, um, I call my sister. Ooh, I call my sister. Let me use this as a mirror. I don't want that. Thank you. And the way she just kept saying my name over and over and over and over and over, it was very difficult. So I knew then that I was dealing with something that I have never been prepared. It's hard to get me where I don't have anything to say, where I'm just stuck. And I have been more stuck this week over and over and over than I've ever been in my life with I don't know what to say. I don't know. Um, what about Karen? Do you have any recommendations for books? Or any of you? Do you have any books on grieving or healing or anything that might be of assistance? I'd like to get my hands on some stuff, and I don't want to just grab anything. Um, and you know, and let's switch for a second and go back to what Shelley was talking about in her community. These kids, you guys, I got to go back and read that again. She said, yes, sadly, we have had 6 kids in my son's high school in the last year. Most recently, a boy last Tuesday. And right here in Naperville, Illinois, where we live, they have had, I think, 6 or 7 as well. I have a friend, Candace, who has a nonprofit and after school drop-in center for kids called the Alive Center. And she filled me in about a month ago when I saw her at an event. Because you don't hear it. They don't put it in the press all the time. That's another thing. Oh, Joshua Bergling showed up. Oh, okay. Let me get him in here. How are you? Good. So hold on. I do. Well, I'm glad you're here because I've been crying and blowing my nose and all kind of stuff. I have. Okay, there you are. Dang, your head's big. It took up the whole screen. You too. Hold on. Okay, there. Okay, now let me send you to live because I had you on twice. Um, okay, you're in a million tiny pieces of TV moving across the airwaves to land over here in the live stream. Oh, wait a minute. I got to move you down. I am not trying to block my new sponsor. Right? Excuse me, Loren. Okay. There. There. You are underneath Symposium. Hi, Joshua.
What's up, man?
Oh, I'm so glad you're here to help carry the load. My guest well, I got to remember to start telling people that are repeats on the show that you can't use your phone anymore with this live streaming.
I was trying to do. Couldn't get on from my phone.
No, you can't because of the broadband stuff. It's too much.
Oh.
So it has to be a laptop or a desktop with a camera. So my guess is going to reschedule. And I thought, well, instead of just skipping today, my family went through this thing this time last week. We were on our way to Michigan because we had two funerals, one tomorrow on Thursday and one on Friday. And both brothers, my sister's husband, who took his own life, they died on the same day. And then his brother Clarence, who died of natural causes earlier that day. And my niece went out there and found my brother-in-law had shot himself with a shotgun when she went to tell him his brother died because he wasn't answering the phone. So, yeah. So, we made it through all that, which was a lot because, you're running back up and down the road from Michigan to Illinois because people are flying in and they got to go back, but you want to stay with the family and blah, blah, blah. And we got this really huge Airbnb and a lot because I wanted everybody around my sister to wake up with her and go to sleep with her and the babies and all this. And that was great. But now everyone's gone home. And every time I call one of them, I didn't even cry during the funeral and stuff. I sang at it and everything. I didn't even cry. But when I call them now and I say, how you doing? And they just lose it. And the kids, and I'm just sitting on the other end of the phone saying, I sound like a robot saying the same things over and over and over and over and over. And I feel like I'm not being of any service to them. I'm not helping in any way. And I just wondered if there were people out there who have dealt with it. And I also wanted to talk with everybody about, I did not know that there was so many different things that have to happen when a person takes their own life. First thing was when my sister called me to sing, she was like, well, we have to be very sympathetic to or sensitive to the lyrics in the songs that you choose because of the manner in which Joe died.
I wouldn't have thought about that.
Well, first of all, we were having the service in a Seventh-day Adventist church, which is what we grew up in. That's
really?
Yes. So don't get me started. Yeah, don't get me started on that. Thank you, Chera. Thank you for putting Alexander's link in. Everybody, hit that link and go see what this young man is doing. He's doing great, great things. Real quick, Joshua, I'm gonna let you run with this, but D,
run with what? I don't even know what we're talking about.
Well,
I want to do my show when you message me, so I was like,
well, I'm gonna tell you what I want you to run with. First, D is on here, and she's one of our family members.
Hi, D.
And D says so many mixed emotions with the family, lots of guilt and angry feelings. The sadness of this loss comes from many places. This is true. This is true. And it's a lot to deal with. And Dee went out of town right afterwards, went out of state for a meeting or something. And she just got back yesterday. So she's going to be going over to deal with my sister and that she's there. But what I was saying, Shelley says, any book Karen says, any book by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, yes, on death and dying. That's true. That's the textbook. Shelley Dale says, Second First by Christine. Okay, there's some books there. Great. So, Joshua.
Yes.
Have you ever known someone who took their own life?
Yes.
Where did they fit in your world? Were they a friend, an acquaintance, a family member, a lover, what?
Well, Man, this is interesting that you bring this up. I did a couple years ago, I did an episode on my show called Going Deeper. And what spawned it was I was hearing about all of these suicides from people that were killing themselves from a place of shame. And they were people that were struggling with their sexuality.
Okay.
And my heart was ripped open because I understand that, and
Yeah.
a lot of my drug use came from wanting to try to, I know this makes no logical sense, but a lot of I used drugs to explore, which again, I was medicating my mind to help me explore, to try to discover something real, which makes no rational sense. But I know I'm not the only one that has experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a real struggle for me. And I remember what it was like, growing up in a hellfire damnation church, and like, you're going to hell if you're gay, if sex is for a man and a woman, and then that's marriage is for a man and a woman, like all of those things. And like, you're going to hell if you do this. So I knew there was a period of time where I knew 3 people that I was friends with that killed themselves based on their sexuality. Like, it was all centered around their sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I say friends, was like best friends hanging out all the time? No, but it was people that I knew, talked to, and knew well enough to know that they had another side to them that they were hiding, and some of the struggle that they went through. And I had talked about it so openly that they had reached out. Well, these people had committed suicide. And it was tough. It was like, I forgot the time span. It was like 3 people in 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, Shelley Dale on here said that her son's high school has had 6 kids in this school year. The most recent, last Tuesday, a boy. And it's like in one of my nephews, one of the boys that my nephew Jojo, it was his dad that took his life. One of the sons that he raises, he has foster sons, 4 brothers.
Oh, wow.
And the middle schooler, just in like around Christmas, he lost one friend, killed himself, and then the other one had some congenital heart thing and just died at his computer. So he lost his 2 best friends in a 6-day period. And they were worried about all the kids at the school following suit. It's just crazy. And good morning, L. Patrick Dickerson. L. Patrick Dickerson.
Hi, Patrick.
Wow. How are you? Long time no see. Lori Whitney, welcome aboard. We're here today, and I'm glad you all are here. Joshua T. Berglund has popped in to join us. And everyone, this is the guy you heard me shout out, and you hear me shout out to every morning when I encourage you to get up an extra hour early and head over to Gratitude Unfiltered. So, Joshua, tell us about your experience, your one-on-one experience with a suicide, and how did it leave you feeling afterwards?
Inspired.
Again, explain that.
Well, I'm in my purpose. Like, Gratitude Unfiltered is about putting a spotlight on my shadow world. That's how it was created. In fact, I've shared this story over and over, but the day Gratitude Unfiltered was born, or 2 days after it was born, no, you called me out of the blue when Gratitude Unfiltered was born because of some things I was going through in my life. I had a really bad relapse, and you had called me right after that. And I talk about this a lot, but it was a very critical moment in my life that you just popped out of the blue to send me this message. And I always joke about this. Like, I know when Loren's talking to me, and then I know when God is talking through Loren. I know it's 2 different, completely different conversations.
Yeah.
And I know you well enough to know when I was like, okay, this is Loren talking. So like, never mind.
Right. Don't pay that any attention.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention to that guy.
Ringing the bell of purpose.
So, but in the spirit of what God came to me and said that he wanted me to do, and that's how Gratitude Unfiltered was born. I when I say inspired, it was because I knew why God wanted me to do that. I knew what it was like to live in the shadows. I knew what it was like to have shame and to not. I talked about this on my show this morning. I remember what it was like not being able to look in the mirror or be able to look at my family in the face because I was so ashamed of the secret lives I was living.
Yes.
And so when I learned, and I got this from you, 98% of the truth isn't the truth.
Yeah.
That seed that you planted years ago in my brain, it helped me get to that place of, yeah, that's not the truth, 100% of the truth. And little by little, lessons along the line, it showed me the supernatural power of truth. Even the thing that we hide inside of us, that little secret that you keep, that's the very thing that's going to save someone's life.
Amen.
Your purpose is wrapped all around that little secret that you are afraid to let out. The reason why you feel incomplete in life and you don't feel like you've set sail and you're on your way, it's because you're not living your truth. You're withholding something. You're withholding the magic little thing that is meant to ignite your purpose and your passions and this joyful life. And it's, believe it or not, it's your secret. Like, and it may be your purpose has other elements to it, but you don't have the missing puzzle piece until you let it all out.
And you see what? Right here, thank you. I'm hitting the bell of purpose, which means I want you guys to send some love on the screen. It means that you are picking up what we're dropping off, and we're picking up what you're laying down over there on the screen in the form of comments.
See what they're saying.
Yes, well, that's why I have them on my phone.
Oh,
don't you do that on your show? Don't you watch it on the phone?
It's too distracting now.
Really?
I used to love the interaction back and forth, but because now we go on TV and the podcast audience, it's too distracting for that audience.
Oh, really?
So I don't address the audience until the very, very end anymore.
Oh,
I quit. I miss I miss talking to Facebook though.
I keep it right here. Oh, you can't see.
I get distracted by that.
Not me. Because I like to keep the finger on where they're at and what they're doing. For instance, Karen says, not living your truth. Bam. Lori Whitney, Joshua is amazing. And thanks, Loren.
Hi, Lori.
Yeah, somebody followed you over here. Karen also says, unfortunately, suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people ages 10 to 24, especially in the LGBT community. I know it has already been said, but it is an epidemic. Excuse me.
Here's what's an epidemic about it. There are people right now that believe that they're gay that aren't gay. There are people that believe that they really should be a woman, that it's not real. Like, I understand that I understand that there are people that really are gay. I understand that the people really do have gender identification issues. I mean, your husband's an expert in this field. Like, I get all that. But when you're 7 years old, 9 years old, come on, you don't need to be getting a sex change operation. And there's an agenda going on right now too, that I believe it's like it's playing and messing with kids' heads because of what they're seeing on TV and what they're seeing playing out. And it causes people to go, well, wait a second. I don't look like that. I don't act like that. Should I act like that? And they change and alter who they are to try to fit what they see on TV.
Well, let me say something.
Okay.
Because there is, and this speaks to what Karen had to say about that age group, and the suicides in there. There are, kids don't get those changes. They can't. It's not legal that early. They have to wait until they get of age, and they have to go through a process of evaluations. It's not like you can just run in and say,
it's not hopping into a 7-Eleven or a plastic surgeon going, hey, cut this off.
Right. It's not that. Now, but there are children who, and it is heartbreaking when you actually hear their stories, why that they, they see one thing, but it's not what they feel. They just doesn't belong. And, DNA proves that, look at this imbalance in a lot of cases.
Sure.
That is one thing. But here's what I want to switch to right now is I'm very grateful that we're here talking about how I see just from Joe's death, the suicide, we are talking about, you look for the reasons, how can we live our lives to get some purpose from what someone else has done that we cannot undo? And so I would like to see what you have to say or hear what you have to say, as well as you all out there watching today, about the signs. Because if you've ever been, around someone or had someone in your life that took their own life, you do this. You do an inventory, a laundry list of how did I miss this? Could I have picked up the phone and made a difference? Did they say something to me? Everybody's doing that now. They're checking voicemails, they're looking at emails, and they're like, oh my God, I found it. This has actually happened in our family. There is, an email. I'm not an email, a voicemail where he is pleading for help,
Oh
saying this pain is too much. This pain is too much. And I also wanted to hear what you guys have to say about, when you think somebody is making up something, or you think it's a mental illness, and you think it's just in their head. If a person, when I heard this voicemail, he couldn't even say words because the pain was that excruciating. Now, a lot of people thought the pain was in his head, not a figment of his imagination. But afterwards, the only thing I could post was this. I now know how I am going to do better. If something is real to someone else, then it's real. Period.
yeah, because perception's reality. I mean, I know it simplifies it, but it's true. Like you have to pay attention to that stuff. And here's what I think. We've gotten it. The root of the problem is that we are so distracted. I believe. I mean, there's a few roots, but we are so distracted by everything going on. We have so much stimulus that even when we get a text message at this point, we barely even, if we get a long text, I bet we read like 3 sentences out of the 12. Like we scan things. We don't really read it. We're not really present. We're not, when we communicate with people, we're not really looking in their eyes to really, really listen. We're looking for what we have to say, or we're distracted by our own social media stuff. We're constantly on our phones. We're not present with the people that matter most. And my feeling is this: how much do you really value them if you can't give them your attention? So if you don't value them, do they really belong in your life? Well, if they really belong in your life, then guess what? Maybe we should start showing up for people that we love better than we are right now. And a good practice of that is at dinner, we're at dinner with the family and friends. Guess what? Put your stupid phone away and be present. When you're talking to somebody face to face, don't be on your phone scrolling through Instagram as you're chatting like, yeah, that's cool. Like you're halfway paying attention.
Right.
Well, what if that person said something? If you were paying attention, you could have heard them. You could have heard the pain. If you were present,
Exactly.
you would be able to feel the pain and maybe the suffering and the struggle. Maybe they need to talk to you. Maybe they invited you for coffee for a reason.
We
gotta get there. And if you cannot give that person attention, then don't even bother having them in your life.
Because you might be the only chance.
Yes.
And if you're not ready to go there, then let them go somewhere else, or send them somewhere else.
Yes.
That, you know what? That's can I get an amen? I'm ringing the bell.
Amen.
That means put it on. I'm telling you, it's true. And we, and the cliche, when we say, oh, we need to do better. I see people, they say that in one breath and then forget it before the ER on better is even out of their mouth good. You see what I'm saying? And they'll go right back to, because people just say that just to, okay, we need to do better. Okay. Well, when you said what you said a second ago about being present for somebody, because I know that's happened to me and I know that it takes, sometimes when it's really something deep in me, I want somebody to see it. I want somebody to hear it. I want somebody to feel it. But even with my husband, Brian, he'll ask me, it happened. There's something right now. There's something right now that I am dealing with, that I wake up in the middle of the night. It affects my appetite. And he keeps asking, are you sure? Are you sure? And I say, no, man, you crazy. Everything's cool. Now, and men are always talking about women who they'll say, honey, what's wrong? Nothing. Honey, what's wrong? Nothing. And after 20 times, they'll tell you. Well, we have to really be tuned in And you said, I'm trying to get at the point. I wish I'd have stopped you then and butted in. It was when, you said, it basically equates to how can you be there for someone else if you're not there for yourself?
Oof.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Shakespeare said it best, to thine own self be true. Because if I'm not listening to my own needs, how the hell I'm gonna listen to yours?
Exactly.
It's not gonna happen. It's not
Like,
gonna happen.
until you're honest with yourself, you can't be honest with anyone else. It's
Exactly.
possible.
Exactly. I want to welcome Kevin Hoffman and Brandon Neely. Thanks for showing up, guys. It's great to have you here. For those of you who have just joined us, we have an impromptu show today talking about healing and all kinds of different things, emotionally based and charged, with stand-in guest today, Joshua T. Berglund, whose show Gratitude Unfiltered airs right before this show. So, and Josh, do you have a bathrobe? I mean, bathrobe. Do you have a Gratitude Unfiltered page? How do
Yeah.
people find your show?
Gratitude Unfiltered.
Okay, on
I
Facebook.
mean, yeah, I mean, you can Google it. You can even Google it. It's going to pop up. It's on so many different platforms now. Not just Facebook and YouTube and Periscope and E360, of course. Shout out to Aaron.
Yay. Who was
Yeah.
here? I don't know if he's still here, but he was.
I love what Aaron's doing over at A360, and
I do too.
really excited about what's happening there. But no, in Facebook, I mean, the show started on my phone on Facebook, and so that audience is still very, very much important to the show, even though we've expanded. Facebook.com/gratitude unfiltered. There's an amazing community where everyone chats with each other and they pray for each other, and there's like little subgroups that have happened now, and
Wow.
it's cool to see everyone taking care of each other and looking out for each other, and the space has been created for people to be vulnerable, and there's been some really powerful, painful truths shared. It's been awesome. So I'm very, very grateful for the audience, because it makes
I love it.
because
I love it.
there's no what without the audience and the way that they are. I would not have near as much fun doing Gratitude Unfiltered. The audience is what makes it awesome.
Amen. See, we do love you guys.
We really
So,
do.
we really do.
We really do.
We really do. I want to shout out to Brandon Neely. Brandon had made a statement, a comment that I'm loving, and I've heard it before, but it's standing out to me today. I don't know why, but it is. He says, "We have two ears for a reason
One mouth.
and one mouth." What? There's something big inside that statement. What are you getting? Brendan, what do you mean when you say that we have two ears for a reason? Anybody chime in. I want to hear what you have to say about that. And then as we get around the last lap, we got about 7 minutes left. Joshua, in a time like this, the one that we've been talking about here today, where family is looking for any place where they can put their hands and their hearts on anything that smells of healing. How important do you think a sense of gratitude is at a time like this? How important is gratitude to the healing process?
I believe, well, energetically, you can nearly trick yourself with it. You can trick yourself into a positive mind frame by expressing gratitude. One of the tricks that I've learned, because so your heart has a brain, just like your brain has a brain and your stomach has a brain. Your heart, like even in the Bible, it emphasizes the heart over and over and protecting your heart. Actually, my show was about this today. But if you can get out of your head where all the negative, bad thoughts are, the chaos, the why, the guilt, the shame, the I could have done this, you can get out of that and drop into your heart with gratitude. And obviously, with for me, what I do when I'm really, really struggling mentally is I take a really, really deep
cleansing breath.
And yeah, but I also put my hands right here, my fingers right here.
Okay.
And as I take a deep breath in and I breathe out, I think about my blessings, and I will even verbally say, "Thank you, God, for blank." and I will do it as many times as I have to be able to get down into my heart and start feeling something that's good and pure. And if you need to go over what you're grateful for about that person over time, and it's a daily practice, it's not easy, but it is a great way to trick yourself out of thinking about all the painful thoughts.
Yeah.
Instead of getting and expressing love and gratitude for whatever it may be, but you get that in your heart, it will shift your energy. It will shift you away from the trauma that you're feeling inside your brain right now. It's the only way, I believe, because it also, there's something, and you said this to me, and I'm going back to what we originally, when we started the conversation, when you messaged me after that relapse, you didn't know I relapsed, but you'd messaged me and gave me this word. One of the things that you said was surrender. Like, the word that you gave me was surrender, because I was still trying to control my fate and still trying to control the outcome. And here's the thing, as you know, with experiencing this loss, you didn't have control over that.
No.
Like, you were in control, but this pain, the agony that it feels, that you can surrender that and just trust that, and knowing that God will use everything for good.
Yeah.
It takes time. Yes, it takes time. But someone is going to be able to step up in this moment of pain, and someone is going to realize their purpose through sharing this pain and sharing that process of healing. There is a purpose for this pain that you feel right now. Do I have that answer? No.
Right.
But in time, that will be revealed. So right now, the one and only thing that you can do that's going to ease any amount of the horrible suffering that you're dealing with is to get out of your head, into your heart, and start expressing the gratitude for all of the blessings you have. Because even though this blessing, this human being was removed from your life, tragically, the fact is this: if you look around you, you have so much to be grateful for still.
Amen. Thank you. What a great way to end this today. Joshua, I want to thank you. Excuse me. You're always where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be. And I thank God for allowing you to be here with us today. Thank you. You guys get over and check out Gratitude Unfiltered if you haven't already. And I want to say thank you to symposium.us, symposium.us, where conversation becomes currency. Get over and check them out. They're doing great things over there. You can turn your cell phone into a payphone. Get over, turn your viewers into pay-per-viewers, symposium.us. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. And thank you for all of your comments and your suggestions, your book suggestions. We're going to use them, and we will let you know. I will keep you in the loop as far as the healing of this family. And let's do better and not just say it. Okay?
Amen.
Too many suicides out there, and they don't have to be. So let's keep that conversation going, shall we? God bless you all. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning for another episode of Bathroom Moments. Thanks, Josh.
God bless you guys. See you.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Let's see. I think we need some of this.